Salvete discipuli. That means hello, students. Welcome to your first lesson of Latin 1. I'm going to look forward to getting to know all of you either in person or in a Google Meet in the days to come. But here's what we're going to do. We are jumping right into learning Latin. I have presented for you the first few pages of your textbook in a visual form. And the idea of our book is that we jump right in and we try to make guesses on the meaning of the Latin based either on the pictures or on our knowledge of possibly related English words. I will, of course, be presenting the translation, but I would like you to try to make your own guesses as we get started. First off, familia. Take a wild guess. What might familia mean? That's right. It means family. We are going to meet a Roman family in our textbook. Sentence number 1. Caecilius est pater. Now, I am pronouncing the Latin as the Romans did in the time of Julius Caesar. There are a few differences from what you might expect, and we will be reviewing those more systematically in the days to come. But for today, just listen along, look at the Latin, and do your best to figure out what might Caecilius est pater mean. It means Caecilius is the father. Words that we have derived from Latin related to pater, meaning father, are paternal, patrimony. Also the word patriotic, because the word patria in Latin means fatherland. And so being patriotic is being loyal to your fatherland. Sentence number 2. Metella est mater. So if Caecilius est pater meant Caecilius is the father, Metella est mater. That's right. Metella is the mother. So think for a moment, what are some possibly related words in English? Maternal, maternity, matrimony. Sentence number 3. Quintus est filius. Now, there's something I would like to draw your attention to. You notice in the text here, there is a long mark over the I of Quintus, but I don't have a long mark here, okay? So in the textbook, there are long marks which tell you whether a vowel is long or short. However, many Latin books don't have them at all. And so I do want you very early on to become accustomed to seeing Latin with and without those long marks. Quintus est filius. Now, first off, you've probably already guessed, Quintus is a name. So in the context of this familia, take a guess, Quintus est filius. Quintus is the son. Now, an adjective in English worth learning is filial. Filial means having to do with a son or a daughter. The phrase filial piety in English means the loyalty that a son or daughter owes to their parents. Number 4, clemens est servus. Now, I'm going to go back for a moment to show you, look at Quintus, okay? Look at what Quintus is wearing. Now, look at Clemens. Think about the word servus and possibly related English words. What might servus mean? Clemens is a slave or a servant. Now, it is very important to know that, unfortunately, in the ancient world, slavery as an institution did exist. So if we Say servant, he's not getting paid, okay? He is a slave. Clemens est servus. Now, Caecilius, you're going to see, is a very good man. He treats his slaves very well. We will study in more depth as the year goes on what the institution of slavery was like in the Roman Empire. Possibly related words, servitude is derived from servus. Also the word serf, okay? In the Middle Ages, there were people who were virtually slaves, and they were called serfs. Number 5, grumio est coquus. Now take a look at what he's holding. It's a pan. Take a wild guess. Grumio is a cook. The only English word that we derive from this is the word cook itself. Number 6, Cerberus est canis. Cerberus is a dog. Now, okay, so we've just read several Latin sentences in a row, and they've all been the same format. Name is something, okay? So, est, the word est means is. Now, the Spanish word es is the Latin word with simply the T dropped off, okay? So, what might be some words related to canis, which means dog? That's right, canine, or also the word kennel. Okay, now instead of just name is something, such as Caecilius est pater, now we're going to have a series of sentences which are name est, which means is, and then some places where they are. So I'll let you try to guess at where they might be. Some of these aren't so intuitive from the picture, however. Caecilius est in tablino. So take a look at what Caecilius is doing. What room of the house might Caecilius be in? Caecilius is in the study. So maybe a way to remember that tablino means study is think of the fact that he does have a table that he is working at. Number 8. Metella est in atrio. Patella is in the atrium. Now, we have borrowed this word from Latin into English. The atrium is like a front hallway. When you invite guests into your home, that is the first room they might enter. Quintus est in triclinio. Now, you can see what he's doing. He's got a table there. There's some food. There's a pitcher and a glass. Now, the fact, however, that he is lying down on his stomach is what is so tricky. Triclinio actually means dining room. The Romans ate not sitting in chairs at tables, but reclining on like couches, as you see Quintus here. Now, the English word to incline has the same root. The CLIN of incline is related to the CLIN of triclinio. Clemens est in horto. Look around him, he's got some plants. It means Clemens is in the garden. An English word related to horto is horticulture, which is the science of studying like growing plants in a garden. Grumio est in culina. Now we already know that grumio est coquus. Grumio is the cook. So where does the cook work? Grumio est in culina. Grumio is in the kitchen. What word might be related to culina? That's right, culinary, meaning having to do with cooking. Cerberus est in via. Cerberus is in the street. Now, the English word via is borrowed to us from the Latin word via. Via, like for instance, if you were to travel to somewhere and you had to make a layover, like when I go to Romania with my wife, there's no direct flights. And so we frequently have to have a layover, like in Paris. So if we have a layover in Paris, I would say we went to Romania via Paris. That is how we use that word in English. Now, we are going to increase the complexity of our Latin. Now we are going to have actual verbs. The actual verbs are going to be the last word of the sentence. And this is normal for Latin to have the verb last. But that doesn't mean you should translate your verb last in English. And so, pater est in tablino, the father is in the study. Pater in tablino scribit. What's he doing? And what English words might give you a hint about what he's doing? The father writes in the study. Now you have two options for how to translate this present tense verb. You can say the father writes in the study, or you can say the father is writing in the study. What I don't want you to do, however, I do not want you to translate the sentence pater in tablino scribit as the father is in the study writing, okay? The action is writing or writes, and so make that the main verb. English words related to scribit. We have the word scribe, someone who writes, scripture, a thing having been written, and also to inscribe something. Metella est in atrio. Metella is in the atrium. Metella in atrio sedet. Think for a moment, what is she doing? Look at the picture. Metella sits in the atrium. The English word sedentary is related to this Latin word. Sedentary means someone who is sitting or not moving. Filius est in triclinio. The son is in the dining room. What is the son doing in the dining room? Filius in triclinio bibit. The son is drinking in the dining room. To imbibe is an English word related to bibit. Servus est in horto. The slave is in the garden. Servus in horto laborat. Think for a moment. Think of English words possibly related. The slave works in the garden. The English words labor, meaning work, and also laboratory, a place where one works on things. Coquus est in culina. The cook is in the kitchen. We had laborat before with servus. Coquus in culina laborat. The cook works in the kitchen. Canis in via est. The dog is in the road. What is the dog doing? Canis in via dormit. The dog sleeps in the road. What English words do you know that might be related to dormit, meaning sleeps? Dormitory, a place where people sleep. Okay, final point for today's lesson. What have we learned about verbs? Look at all the verbs we have learned. They have something in common. Think for a moment. If you think you know it, say it out loud. They all end in T. And so we have learned that Latin verbs that are for he, she, or it all have a T in their ending when they describe someone doing something.